If you're having problems with your septic system and you're tired of spending so much money each year to have it pumped, then SeptiClean is the answer for you. SeptiClean is an advanced specially formulated blend of bacteria used in the treatment of home and commercial septic systems. The breakdown of waste in your system relies on biological activity of naturally occurring bacteria. SeptiClean restores the natural biological process in your septic system and boosts the existing biological activity. SeptiClean is completely safe on all plumbing and can help prevent expensive emergencies in pumping. SeptiClean has approximately 6 to 100 times the bacteria count of other leading off-the-shelf brands in a 1-year supply. SeptiClean comes in a water-soluble pack, which you flush down the toilet once a month with no mess or stress. Save time, money, and maintenance on your septic system. Find SeptiClean at Emporium True Value Hardware on Main Street in Sag Harbor or visit micro-tab.com. That's micro-tabb.com. Micro-tabb.com.
The Other Side of Midnight.
77 WABC.
Local Spotlight.
Good morrow, everyone. This is The Other Side of Midnight on 77 WABC. I'm Frank Morano. I know a lot of people are very happy about Donald Trump getting elected president again. I sort of did an intellectual exercise yesterday, and I asked myself, who are the people in New York, not named Trump, who are happiest about yesterday's result? And this is what I came up with. It's worth looking at the 3 happiest groups in New York as a result of Trump's win. At number 3, this is all in my opinion, who knows? We have former Mayor Rudy Giuliani. Giuliani has been in Trump's corner from day one, and his loyalty just might pay off. Trump's return to the White House could bring Giuliani a fresh wave of political opportunities and maybe a comeback as a key player on the national stage. Don't be surprised if you see him in the headlines again soon for something positive. I think this is a great opportunity for redemption for Mayor Giuliani. Coming in at number 2, we've got New York City Mayor Eric Adams. Facing mounting investigations and legal issues, Adams might have found a lifeline in Trump's victory. With Trump's history of issuing pardons and Adams being a prominent local leader who Trump has given a shout out to publicly repeatedly, it's not far-fetched to imagine he could benefit from executive clemency if needed. For Adams, Trump's return might just be the political reprieve he's looking for. But by far, the happiest group of people in New York, well, that's people like me. Commuters who don't want to pay a congestion pricing tax to drive to work in Manhattan. For anyone unfamiliar, congestion pricing is a toll on drivers entering Manhattan that Governor Hochul has currently paused, aimed at reducing traffic and pollution while funding the MTA. Yet Trump has vowed to terminate the program in his first week back in office. This isn't just a campaign promise he threw out there once and forgot. He's been vocal about it since May, and it could realistically happen. Trump could delay congestion pricing by years or even kill it completely by revoking its federal approval or demanding an extensive environmental review. His administration could also side with New Jersey's lawsuit against the program, essentially putting it on ice. So if you're a driver, Trump's victory could mean no more worrying about that extra toll coming out of your pocket. For now, I'll say so long, congestion pricing. This is one promise that I think Trump is going to deliver on. I'll admit, it's nice not to have to figure that extra cost into my commute.
Beam me up!
To be continued.
Mic check. 1, 2. Are we recording? Hi, I'm Michelle Bernstein, an award-winning chef, restaurateur, and mom. I have a lot on my plate, including my psoriatic arthritis symptoms. That's why I was prescribed Cosentyx. It helps me move better.
Cosentyx secukinumab is prescribed for people 2 years of age and older with active psoriatic arthritis. Don't use if you're allergic to Cosentyx. Before starting, get checked for tuberculosis. An increased risk of infections and lowered ability to fight them may occur, like tuberculosis or other serious bacterial, fungal, or viral infections. Some were fatal. Tell your doctor if you have an infection or symptoms like fevers, sweats, chills, muscle aches, or cough, had a vaccine or plan to, or if inflammatory bowel disease symptoms develop or worsen. Serious allergic reactions and severe eczema-like skin reactions may occur. Learn more at 1-844-COSENTYX or Cosentyx.com.
Ask your rheumatologist about Cosentyx.
other side of midnight.
77 WABC.
Local Spotlight.
Good morrow, everyone. This is The Other Side of Midnight on 77 WABC. I'm Frank Morano. Rumors are swirling that Andrew Cuomo may be considering a run for mayor of New York City, and with the possibility of a special election, his return could be closer than we think. For many New Yorkers, Cuomo's comeback talk is unsettling, and for good reason. After all, this is a man with a long track record of abusing power, and putting him in charge of a constitutionally strong mayoralty could spell real trouble for Democratic governance in our city. I know not everyone, but a lot of people are talking about Donald Trump being a threat to democracy. Andrew Cuomo is someone that I really view as a local threat to democracy. Let's start with his history of deceiving the public. Remember the Moreland Commission? Cuomo created this anti-corruption panel with a lot of fanfare, promising to root out corruption in Albany. But when the commission got a little too close to his own allies, he abruptly shut it down. Totally illegally, in my view. When questioned, Cuomo argued that since he had created the commission, he could just as easily disband it. That's not just misleading, that's manipulation, pure and simple. Then there's the scandal surrounding his book on COVID, which he somehow thought was appropriate to release during the height of the pandemic. Sure, it had nothing to do with the fact that he got paid millions of dollars for it, and he stands accused of having state employees, public servants, paid by you and me, work on his book for his own profit. Imagine using taxpayer resources for a private payday. That's not leadership, it's exploitation. And it doesn't end there. Throughout his governorship, Cuomo was notorious for abusing what's known as the message of necessity. This power lets the governor fast-track legislation in emergencies, bypassing the usual checks and balances. But Cuomo used it to ram through controversial measures. And he did the same thing with getting stuff stuck into the state budget so that it wouldn't get an up or down vote, like renaming the Tappan Zee Bridge after his father. Rather than letting these measures face a fair vote, he packed them into the state budget, turning what should have been a budgetary process into a tool for forcing his will onto other legislators and onto New Yorkers without a true debate. This was not an isolated incident. Over and over, Cuomo used the state budget as a backdoor for controversial policies. Instead of allowing these issues to be openly debated and voted on individually, he buried them in budget bills, knowing that lawmakers would feel pressured to pass them. That's not democratic, it's autocratic. And let's not forget his use of the Attorney General's office as a personal weapon. He wielded it like a club, going after his political enemies or anyone he thought stood in his way. Imagine that same approach applied in New York City. I don't care to. I hope New Yorkers realize what a danger Andrew Cuomo would be as the mayor.
Beam me up!
To be continued.
Choosing a bottled Starbucks Frappuccino drink that's all flavor and just 100 calories? Easy. Choosing between creamy vanilla, double chocolate, and sea salt caramel flavors? A little harder. Try the delicious new Starbucks Frappuccino light drinks. Look for them wherever you buy groceries. Start with Starbucks coffee.
The Other Side of Midnight.
77 WABC.
Local Spotlight.
Big changes are coming to New York high school graduation requirements, and I, for one, think it might be about time. For years on the radio, I've championed the need to rethink what it means to be educated. When students receive that high school diploma, what does it actually mean? And we're finally seeing a proposal that shifts focus from outdated exams to hands-on learning experiences. And if you've heard my interviews with people like Mike Porcelli, you know I think this is exactly the sort of thing we need more of. State education officials are now proposing a system that could do away with the Regents exams. Instead of a rigid test requirement, students could show their learning through project-based assessments, internships, or work-based learning. Now, of course, some people are claiming this approach will water down standards, but let's be real. Rote memorization and filling in multiple choice answers aren't the same as preparing for real-world success. this. For decades, the Regents exams have been considered the standard for high school achievement in New York. But let's ask ourselves, what is this standard really achieving? Research has shown that high-stakes exit exams like the Regents don't necessarily improve student learning. In fact, students who struggle with traditional testing often end up more frustrated than inspired. And while some claim the Regents ensures equity by holding all students to the same bar, I think a well-rounded system that embraces diverse skills and aptitudes could do far more to prepare students from all backgrounds for their future careers. Under the new proposal, students could demonstrate proficiency through projects and practical experiences. I think this change offers a chance to emphasize trade education, an area we've undervalued for far too long. A project-based approach lets students apply what they're learning in meaningful ways, whether that's through a mechanic's apprenticeship, a culinary internship, or an engineering project. This isn't lowering the bar, it's raising it in a way that prepares students for the workforce, higher education, and life. There are, of course, concerns about how this will be implemented across districts. Educators like Kiri Soros worry about uneven rigor and resources, especially in underserved communities. But what's exciting is that state officials are involving educators, parents, and students in the process. This is no rush decision. They've been gathering feedback from public forums, engaging with those on the ground. In the past, many schools have gotten waivers to use performance-based assessments instead of Regents exams, and the results have been positive. Students at these schools report feeling more engaged and challenged than when they were just studying for a test. These models are demanding, and implementing them statewide will require investment in resources and training. But if done right, these changes could bring back the focus on genuine learning rather than standardized test scores.
Beam me up!
To be continued.
Acura's all-new ADX, a compact SUV that isn't just built for one thing, it's precision-crafted for everything. To escape the grind with available all-wheel drive. To go with your flow with available Google built-in.
Hey Google, turn it up.
Okay, turning up the volume. And crafted to be heard with an available Bang & Olufsen premium sound system. The all-new Acura ADX, crafted to match your energy. Acura, precision-crafted performance.
Take your vibes and go, 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 go.
Google is a trademark of Google LLC.
The Other Side of Midnight.
77 WABC.
Local Spotlight.
Did you notice something about Tuesday's ballot? I know I did. Voters across New York, especially here in the city, were talking about it, and you've probably heard media commentators like me bring this up countless times, or seen it on social media, or observed it yourself. There just weren't any choices. For office after office, it was one lonely name running unopposed. Or how about those judicial positions? 7 open slots, 7 candidates on the ballot. Pick your favorite, but they're all running by default. And they're all winning by default. If this doesn't make you question our election system, I don't know what will. Now, I've been banging this drum for a while. The election system here in New York is overdue for some serious reforms, and I'm planning to write a letter to the mayor this weekend when he gets back from Puerto Rico, urging him to appoint a new charter revision commission specifically tasked with electoral reform. This monopoly on the ballot isn't just disappointing, it's disheartening. And it's a major reason why I'm pushing so hard for changes to how we run things in this state. People deserve real choices, competitive races, and the ability to feel like their vote matters. And it's clear that political leaders need to step up their candidate recruitment efforts. But here's the rub. You can't force people to run for office. Believe me, I've tried, and I've gotten in some trouble for that, especially when the odds are so stacked against them. With so many districts dominated by one party, it's understandable why some would-be candidates might think twice. Why jump into a race if defeat is a foregone conclusion? Yet that's why I hold in such high regard anyone who runs, especially in a district where they don't have a snowball's chance of winning. These people, these brave souls, are giving voters a choice, and that's a public service. They're the underdogs, and as far as I'm concerned, they're civic heroes, the ones willing to put their names out there for the sake of democracy itself, and we need more of them. So here's what I'm asking. First, join me in the fight for electoral reform in New York. I was very disappointed that very few of you took me up on my suggestion to testify at the last round of Charter Revision Commission hearings. Join me. Do something. Let's push for a system that encourages fair races and gives voters real choices. And second, if you've ever thought about running for office, please consider it. Because simply by stepping up, you're doing a huge service to the community. You're giving voters an alternative. So as I see it, anyone who's brave enough to put their name on the ballot, no matter the odds, deserves our respect and admiration. In a democracy, a choice shouldn't be a luxury. It shouldn't be a given. Let's work together to make that happen.
Beam me up.
To be continued.
This is your before and after story. Prepare for an incredible career in nursing. At Southeastern College, experience expert hands-on training. Learn real-world skills in our professional lab and simulated settings. And train for opportunities as a practical nurse, registered nurse, or career advancement with our RN to BSN program. At Southeastern College, your future is bright. Visit sac.edu to get started.